Hello and welcome to the Not the Kapil Sharma show. This is Hariom Vashisht, and I'm doing live product candid conversations with people like myself on this channel. Been almost 40 days, and this is fun. This is my Rakhi, which just went by. We are sitting at 11 a.m. Today is 1st September 2023. I'm waiting for the candidate with whom I will be having a live candid conversation. We will be telling a lot of stories. I would like to talk about how this project started, how it evolved from where it started till today. Okay. In the meantime, right? So let's wait for the person. In the meantime, I'll be telling some stories. I'm actually practicing to tell stories. So this is kind of a learning phase for me. I am learning by doing late live. I like the unknown part of this. Every day I feel like there is something that is hidden that I need right now from there. Okay, so a short, quick story maybe to about this session, how this project evolved. I will talk about this maybe after the candidate has joined, but maybe also have to call him. Oh, I think he's almost coming. So, quick story. It has to be quick. कुछ दिन पहले, few days ago, my child and my child's mother went to a park for an evening picnic. It went good. We bought a balloon for the child, my child Harita, who has another channel in her name, Grow Up with Harita. So when we bought that balloon while playing in the park in the grass, pins right of the grass, it actually burst that balloon. So it was like, I mean, okay, we went through our play. It was just a balloon, right? So it was fine. Few days after that event, that day, we went to the park again. Something amazing happened that day. So now I'm coming to the storytelling. Like I'm trying to be very much clear. Uh, so when we went again, suddenly some balloon person came to us. They gave the balloon. We were like, okay, it's just another balloon. We'll take it. When I bought that balloon, paid the money, my child, literally returned the balloon and gave the money, took the money back, put it back into my own wallet, and put the wallet in my pocket. That was the day my eyes were like opened. The child, which is like she was only 1.5 years old at that moment when this event happened. So I was like, okay, she has grown up too much already. So okay, I think that I'll end that story in short. I'll maybe reviewing that someday later. So we'll add Mr. Rahul. Hi.
Hey, hello, Hari. How are you?
Good, sir. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Thanks
How?
for joining.
Great. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, so since we are strangers, let's introduce ourselves for a few minutes.
Absolutely.
Before that, I'll like, tell you a little bit about this project I've been doing, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I am Hariom Vashisht. I have been an entrepreneur, a product manager, and been through various roles in last 13 years in my career. Um, Today, I'm doing this activity to expand my, I would say, area of understanding by talking
Mhm.
to people like myself, because it has been like almost 3 years. I am at least away, feel like away from the people like myself, right? Working from home situations has been very much different.
Yeah, I know.
Since recently, I have been looking for opportunities in the industry. I felt like there are opportunities, but rather than actually following the traditional path of applying and getting rejected, I will
Mm.
build a pipeline of incoming leads. I will be where the hiring managers hang out, right?
Mm.
Just a random thought. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I started with the thought to talk to people like myself. I literally posted very randomly on LinkedIn that I will talk to 30 people, interview
Mm.
them in a very structured format,
Okay.
suddenly on the second day, that was my thought. I will do it. I mean, let's see if people find me, right? Even if
Hmm.
I find 7 people, I will schedule it. Second day, suddenly see a CEO of some organization commented
Hmm.
on the job post that why don't you interview for senior product manager of my company for this particular role? They gave me a JD,
Okay.
and that suddenly my post, my that first day post, right, went viral. It came out to be, this company is hiring through this person. Let's talk to him. Huh?
Hmm.
So people jumped on that interview opportunity, right? I
Okay.
think I have been, yeah. So I tried to use that virality of my once got. So I ended up getting some leads around that. I even created a WhatsApp, I think, group. Maybe you know that. So I created a WhatsApp group where people lined up for this interviews.
Hmm.
But some of them were hesitating. They were thinking about actually doing it, but not actually taking action. I
Okay.
had conversations with almost 50 of them in 15 days, first 15 days. I was like, let
Yeah.
me find out what is happening. What do they think? What do I am trying to give them? So they were like, why do you actually want to do the interview on a live camera? It was literally scary for some of them.
Yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
understand. There might be some questions like, and even I thought of some questions that can be uncomfortable, like why did you work with X organization for only 6 months, right?
Right, right,
Something
right.
like that, right? Or why did you move on from this organization, from this organization? So we may not have very rational thoughts to actually do
Right,
that.
right. Absolutely,
Now,
absolutely.
so what happened is that then I figured, my target area, target user is little
Hmm.
limited. Although there are people really interested in doing that, but
Hmm.
to actually expand that, get people to do that, I'll have to open up to larger audience. So I
Hmm.
pivoted from there to real interviews to the general conversation. So we'll talk
Right,
about random, we'll
right,
tell
right,
stories. That's what
right, right.
product managers do, right?
Yeah, no,
um, Oh,
absolutely.
thanks for adding your title there. I missed to, because we missed to connect before this event, right? I could not
Yeah.
actually get even a picture of yourself to put it on the thumbnail. So, talking about stories, it went well, right? For first 15
Yeah.
days, I done 5 interviews. I was like, okay.
Hmm.
Then I pivoted to the real general conversations, debates, and the storytelling. Then
Hmm.
people got more interested. Okay, let's do this. I want to talk about something. I have a lot of things to talk about. So
Right.
now I'm getting some more people to talk about,
Okay.
and it is kind of a more interesting way also. Maybe interview is not really that entertaining,
No, no,
right?
I can understand because see the thing is when you use a word interview, right? And generally
Right.
there is some sort of a professional obligation that comes into place that I have to be right, and especially if it is live, you can't be wrong. And if these are
Right.
interviews which are happening in the offices or back doors,
Hmm.
then at least you feel comfortable, though, and it doesn't matter you say right or wrong, you will try to give your best and be
Right.
confident.
Right. So
So
that's the
that,
best part of the live, right? I mean,
yeah,
that is why I think I'm doing it in a very open way, because
okay,
I want to be visible to the people that this is who I am,
yeah, yeah,
right? So
true,
if
true.
there's an opportunity lying in the somewhere in the
Hmm.
universe, it will come
Hmm.
to me, right?
Right,
Some way.
right,
I'm just
right,
telling the universe this is what I want to be. Okay.
right, right. No, no,
Now,
absolutely, absolutely.
so let me
But,
cut
but
my
then
story
I think the
short.
open interview concept is still not very much, there in India or I think outside also. I don't know, but could be a good idea for future explorations.
Okay, I want to comment on that.
Hmm.
Maybe my pitch was wrong, no, not really clear. So
Hmm.
although I wrote it in a one post somewhere like that, assume there are thousands watching you and you are an accomplished product manager already. You have
Right.
made $1 million of impact. Now
Yeah.
talk about your story, right? That's what
Hmm.
I was trying to give a feel of it, right? Some way.
Yeah, yeah,
So I,
no, but then that those product managers will not come for interview. That's the thing. If they have already created a lot of impact, then they might have already ample opportunities coming their way, and they may not, need that, external interview support or that to public to highlight their achievements.
I like your comment. And just to tell my point of view, I failed to convey my point. So
Yeah, yeah,
assume you are, when I'm saying, assume you are an accomplished product manager,
yeah.
you will be called for, live events, right? Where you
Yeah, yeah,
sit down. presence of thousands of people like you, inspiring
Yes,
to
yes,
be you. Then you
yes,
tell
yes.
your stories. That's technically
Yes.
another kind of interview, but an interview, right?
No, no, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that interview is different from hiring interview.
Hiring
So
interview, of
that's
course.
a very major
So
difference.
I mixed up
Yeah,
very
yeah.
vaguely, but yes, I wanted to do that. So
Okay, okay. No, no,
let me
absolutely. I mean, at least you took an initiative. That's a good part, right? It's a, and you got connected to some of the people and had some conversations. So I'm sure you would have been a good experience.
there's a lot. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
today I'm learning. I was a different person 40 days back when I started.
Okay, okay.
Right. Today I'm like I can express myself like this is better me.
Very good. That's absolutely great to hear.
Now let me cut my story short. Short.
Yeah,
It has been a
yeah.
lot of me talking.
Mm.
Let's talk about you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So I would like to. So let me tell you. Let me do it like. Let me give you a prompt.
Mm.
Okay.
Sure, sure,
Uh,
sure.
so this is like next 5-10 minutes are yours.
Okay.
You have to tell the best stories of your life. The
Mm-hmm.
journey of getting started, the way where you are and where you want to be, and your
Yeah.
aspirations, your modes of theories, or your unique point of views you may have, opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I would say anything. So take your 5 minutes. You will be able to use this stories next 5 minutes like a real individual interview video of yourself, right? Not a
Hmm.
like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll definitely try my best,
Sure, sure.
and whatever comes out, it'll be natural because there's no preparation that has
Of course,
gone, but it'll be definitely an impromptu thing.
yeah. Right.
So to start with, I am Rahul Kapoor, currently a senior product manager working with Booking Holdings, and I think I feel myself privileged and also thankful to all the opportunities that have got so far. I've started my journey. I passed out from college, did my computer science, engineering, and I passed out from college in 2009. And since and that period was actually one of the most critical period because of the recession. That's one of the most you know um, difficult period that I have experienced so far in my professional journey. So, I mean, I was fortunate that I got a job. My first job was in Wipro as a software developer, and then when I joined that, I realized that though I'm coming from a computer engineering background, I thought products is something I am interested in, but I would like to experience a different side of it. Not maybe the technical development is something which I really wanted to experience and I have experienced and learned in my engineering phase, but I really wanted to go and understand the business side of it. Why do we build products? This is the why part is something uh, make me curious and amaze me a lot of times because in reality the products that we see outside, there
Hmm.
are so many duplicates and redundant products that are available, and I wanted to understand how we can differentiate it and make it a little more better. It's just that we have all the resources available. That doesn't mean we keep creating same products
Right.
again and again, right? Probably it's a waste of energy and time for a lot of development resources as well. So I got interested in the product management part of it, and of course, it was not easy back then to get into product management. And product management in 2010 time was not a very known, formal role as well.
Hmm.
It is only very recently, 2015-16, that India has started to know what does the expectation from product managers, and there is a formal sort of communities started forming up in India, right?
Right.
So I got a job in a development role itself, and I joined SAP Labs. So
Hmm.
SAP Labs has been a very, good people-centric organization, and it is a wonderful one of the top ERP companies, German ERP companies, right? And I think a lot of the large companies are using SAP today.
Hmm.
So I was amazed by the scale for coming from services based organization to actual product based organization, going closer to my goal was a big achievement for me. And though I started as a developer, but within 1 year or 2 year, I got an opportunity to switch myself into a product manager role.
Hmm.
which was sort of an associate product manager role just to start with, because I there was a new product that was getting developed in SAP from scratch from India, Bangalore, and I was happened to be there at that point of time. And
Okay.
because I had some experience working on the technical side of the stuff, I got into the product management, and that gave me a good exposure, and of course the confidence that I can do it more and more. And this is where the journey of product management started. And I really so the problem statement excited me a lot. And the problem statement was very simple: how we can actually improve the performance and maintenance of the huge machineries that are used in manufacturing space, because those are the key resources or assets for any manufacturing company. Because if those assets goes down, there's a huge loss, not only in terms of money, but also in terms of resources and time that manufacturing companies have to bear.
Hmm.
And if you don't have a proper way of maintaining and optimizing the working hours of those machines,
Right.
you can't get the expected output, and it is highly difficult to scale. And and I was surprised that even the large companies with all the money in the world, they were also facing that challenge. And so
Hmm.
that is where there was a need of an efficient optimization of how the machines and the maintenance can be done for such machines, right? And that excited me, and so I talked to multiple companies in across Europe, because that was our core target market for especially Germany,
Hmm.
to start with, because there are a lot of manufacturing companies there. And we started talking to Deutsche Bahn. We started talking to Switzerland Trains
Hmm.
to understand, what exactly goes at the back to make sure that your trains are always running on time and are never delayed and are always working properly, and you don't face any I would say unplanned maintenance activities for the
Hmm.
trains, right? Because that's a huge thing for them. So we started understanding the problems a little bit more deeply, and of course brainstormed a lot, and then we came up with solution, and it worked very well. And that actually excites me to go and explore more areas. And
Hmm.
after spending almost 10 years in SAP, I moved to Booking Holdings. I thought it's time to explore a different area. And now Booking.com, as you may know, it's a Booking Holding is a parent company of Booking.com. So I am now into the travel industry,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to look into the help them scale fintech area of Booking.com, because that's a new area, and trying to understand that space. So that's an exciting space I am today. Well, coming to aspirations, so I think I have during this journey, I've also got excited to get involved myself into the startup ecosystem of Bangalore as well. I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but due to certain situations or maybe my limitations, I guess, I could not take a step. But I am trying hard to go in that direction. And recently, I have also, got um, got listed as a NASCOM, Deep Tech Club mentor.
Hmm.
And so I'm working closely with some of the startups in the manufacturing space, because I have worked with some of the largest customers in that space, and trying to see how we can help them scale and go to those customers and help sort some of the gaps and problems. So that is a kind of interesting thing going on in parallel.
Interesting.
uh, that's pretty much, I guess.
Awesome. Wow. So we pretty much started almost the same time. I mean, I graduated back in 2010, though there
Okay.
was one subject pending which completed, I think, 20 in 2011.
Okay. Okay.
um, but officially, when I joined first organization with a long-term goal was in 2015.
Okay.
So
Okay.
after 2010 to 15, I was
Hmm.
a person ready to like build any day from scratch, any
Okay.
day. And
Yeah.
I think the reason was maybe like my father was there with me. Like, dude, do whatever you want.
Hmm.
So I'll tell you that 5 year story in short. Um,
Okay.
for, right after college in 2010, even when there was one reappear pending,
Hmm.
one organization when we were, doing walk-ins in Faridabad itself, there was a small organization named Exivo Private Limited. So that was a data analytics team. I
Hmm.
joined there. I was basically cleaning data, surveys
Hmm.
data, millions of users active survey data,
Wow.
using some basic codes like there's a deviation in data due to this. Let's delete that data, remove that from
Hmm.
the millions,
Hmm.
right? So that the better analysis can be done. After understanding my role and working on that for almost 2 months, I was like, where do I see myself after 10 years now? Okay, this is now time.
Hmm.
So I asked this question my TL. He was like,
Hmm.
his response was, you can see yourself in my place, leading a team of 5 or 10,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, working with the organization like this. So
Hmm.
that was kind of his response.
Right.
I still remember the place and the person that was, and that response was little shocking for me.
Hmm.
I don't know why. My expectations from my own career was like, so that was the day I broke myself, attaching myself that with that role. I was like, I need
Hmm.
to find something else that I can dedicate myself to. Although
Hmm.
that was data analytics, I could not understand the
Hmm.
importance of data analytics back in 2010. So
Hmm.
I failed there, of course. I went, so after juggling through various options I could get while
Yeah.
I was doing the web development as a freelancer,
Okay.
random school friend of mine came to me with the thought, right, why don't we build something ourselves? I was like, I
Hmm.
don't know what are you saying. So let's talk about this.
Hmm.
So he said, let's build something like justdial.com. You have a domain, nothing else matters. We'll use
Hmm.
it like a for passion based businesses. So we
Hmm.
targeted the dance, guitar, and music classes.
Okay.
I gave them subdomain under my domain for free for initial days. I was like, okay,
Hmm.
let's do this. I was the web developer, so I could not understand the business, but eventually I wanted to.
Right. Right. Right.
That was the time before 2011, actually 2012. I was not even
Hmm.
aware of what is product management, what is startup, what is a business. I was like a web developer. That's all I
Yeah.
dream
Yeah.
of,
That
building
was
something.
that was the biggest thing during that time. Yeah.
Right, right. So when startup waves started in 2012,
Hmm.
and there was another thing. There was a wave of social networking platforms in those days.
Yeah.
Facebook was
Absolutely.
growing very fast.
Like Orkut and Facebook.
Right, right. So I mean, somehow I was able to introduce social networking in my domain using
Okay.
content management systems plugins, just a simple
Hmm.
plugin. Zom
Okay.
Social in some tools of content management system. So there was a account creation, chatting, groups, and communities. There was a lot of available stuff for free. That was interesting part. So I was like, we
Hmm.
are building a social network. There will be businesses, there will be this and that.
Hmm.
So our pitch was something like maybe we were trying to compete Google. So that's what
Hmm.
the investors could understand.
Hmm.
They were like, if you are trying to compete with Google with these thoughts and these skills of yours, because maybe, of course, we were beginners out of college.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe our pedigree or the skills, sales marketing skills we were doing there were like quite low. So they were like, don't compete, don't even try to compete with Google. Look
Right.
at
Right.
Pinterest, they are doing something like that. Look at this, they are
Hmm.
doing this. And I was like broken from there also. I don't know. My
Yeah.
friend had to leave due to family reasons. He had to
Okay.
join the Indian Army. I was
Okay.
like, I was a web developer. I don't know where the business will go, what the business
Hmm.
will do. I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm.
I had to stop there. I was like, I don't know the business will survive because it's only me.
Right. Right. Right.
So I put that into hold. Right. Then I was looking for opportunities, and
Hmm.
there was a startup event back in 2012 again. So there another organization was looking for a technology person. I was looking
Hmm.
for opportunities. We connected from there. I joined
Okay.
them as a techie. The founders somehow shut down the platform in 3 months. I was like,
Oh. Okay.
okay, that is me. Fine. Then I went back into freelancing. I was like, that's all I can do for now. I don't know anything else.
Hmm.
Then while doing that freelancing activities,
Hmm.
somehow came into conversations that I rebought that platform from the founders, the second venture I joined, right?
Okay.
That was kind of weird also for me, if I think about it today, because I
Hmm.
had to get some payments from money from the father to support me to buy that venture, relaunch it in my own, whatever that was. So I
Wow.
did that. I recreated a team, rebuilt the business model to some extent. I was
Hmm.
like, okay, this is going to be Daviti Shit. So the business name was davitishit.com. It was a
Hmm.
platform for creative content, one, two lines of creative. And that is why it went viral in those days on Facebook, because everybody was trying to be getting
Okay.
started with the social networking, right? The
Hmm.
quick one-liners were getting viral somehow in the
Yeah.
way founders created it. I was like, okay, I don't know. I will be able to. I thought I will be able to take care of
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
I think it failed because if you ask me today, the core idea wasn't mine. I could not understand the value it would give to the end user, right?
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right.
it was for writers. I was nowhere close to writing. I was a web developer, right?
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I don't know where it is going.
And what made you buy that,
Venture.
brand? What made you buy that company?
So that's what I thought, right? I thought I will be able. So it was an interesting business in some way.
Okay.
I thought I
Okay.
just had to relaunch it.
Hmm.
Founders were not able to do it. I think I was not able to analyze the issues founder was facing.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, the monetization of the platform,
Hmm.
um, and the long-term monetization.
Hmm.
But I could not see that, so I relaunched it. I thought it will go viral again, and I will make money, but it did not happen.
Yeah. No, it
burnt
happens.
a
It
lot of
happens.
money, burnt a lot of money there. Then it was like almost 3 years out of college. People were, people like around me in the family and friends were like doing their good jobs in traveling international countries and doing well-paying jobs. I was like, I was being forced to look for something. My father was still with me, like, dude, do whatever you want.
Hmm.
I was like, let me try one more time. If I fail one again, I will find a job.
Yeah.
So then it was still like, I still can do it. It is just
Hmm.
about building something, right?
Hmm.
I'll cut the story short in 1 minute again. So I used to
Yeah.
play a lot of mobile games. In mobile games, I thought there's an opportunity of having a brand engage with the user, the player, and
Mm-hmm.
not interrupt with the banner ads and all. So I
Okay.
embedded the brand, the Paytm logo in a game where
Hmm.
the tile one, they were random black and white tiles running like a piano.
Okay.
Whenever I hit any key, it turns into a music piano key, right?
Hmm.
So I embedded Paytm logo in one of them randomly. I was like, okay, this is my prototype now. I downloaded the open source game from GitHub itself.
Okay.
I was able to do the prototyping. I was like, okay, let me show it
Hmm.
to Paytm.
Hmm.
Again, my business skills were lacking there. I was good. Maybe I was good with technology, not really good with, like, getting a developer job. And I did not even want to do that. I wanted to
Hmm.
use that built code. So, but again,
Hmm.
my business skills, my marketing skills, my sales skills were like all zero, right? I think I understand that later, but I could not sell it like a business.
Right. Yeah.
Then interestingly, when I was looking for, pitching that as a product, as a startup also,
Hmm.
the investors, one of the investors from Bloom Ventures was like, dude, you have been trying since very long time. Work
Hmm.
with someone, learn what you are missing out of, then maybe try again.
Right.
So
Right.
they gave me a reference and I got the job. I was like, okay, I started from somewhere else, right, randomly.
Hmm.
Then after working in that role, very random role, for almost 2 years, I figured that, product management is the best thing probably I can do because I understand code. Now I
Right.
understand business because I've been trying to do this since last 5 years.
Hmm.
But it was difficult to get into product management also. It's like,
Very
again,
true. No,
but yes,
as of today, also the product management is, to be very honest, it is not clearly defined, and every
okay,
organization has their own set of practices and their own definition of product management, and it's kind of highly mixed up.
right.
B2C products are behaving different, B2B products are behaving different, D2C products are a little odd different. So
Hmm.
there is still a need of more improvement. But I guess we are taking a lot of things from US, and not everything is perfect in US. So there's a huge scope where we can actually define certain product management roles a little bit better.
Yeah,
But it's a good learning exercise for me as well.
sure, sure. So let's do some questions now, right? Maybe
Absolutely.
I was looking at a conversation from some industry leaders
Hmm.
talking about product management roles definitions, right?
Yeah.
I understood that on scale too many when founders decide they need a product manager, or they
Yeah.
have an expectation, right, that we have these problems.
Hmm.
The sprint is stuck there, the revenue is not coming, something like that, and we will
Hmm.
hire a product manager. They will be able to solve a lot of these things automatically somehow, right? Now,
Right.
the second question from those again industry leaders was the probability of the new coming product manager
Hmm.
resolving those issues.
Hmm.
What is the probability of getting a good enough product manager, right? So now
Hmm.
probability of actually solving that problem for a
Yeah.
product manager, probability of finding a new product manager who will be able to do that. So when
Right. Right.
those probabilities multiply, they increase the risk. That's how I understood that. Now,
Yeah.
it was described in a way that we were trying to solve one problem. Now
Hmm.
we have two problems. to
Yeah.
so
No,
to
no,
take care.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think this is you have asked a very valid question, and this is exactly which connects to with back to my statement what I said, right? The management definition is not really defined, and it changes from industry to industry, company to company.
Right.
And this is exactly what everybody is facing. People, I somehow still think that product management is the CEO of the product. I don't consider it to be 100% true. Product management is one aspect of it. Product management doesn't own everything, right? There are every stakeholder has a part to play in that in a product. If it's a software product, then product management defines the mission and the vision of the product, and then tries to define the roadmap and a strategy so that it can slowly goes into that direction where they want to take it.
Hmm.
But then product management is not a CEO of the company, right? Itself. So product management is just still a role which is sitting within the top leadership. Now, there are stakeholders, and product management is not responsible for everything. Product management is probably not getting into the engineering side of it. Product management
Hmm.
is not completely getting into the marketing side of it. Product management is not getting to the into the completely into the sales side of it. His function is to basically work very closely with the business, with the tech, and the UX side of it, right? It works towards the intersection of these three pieces, right? And
Hmm.
these three pieces itself are quite big. Now, if you
Hmm.
don't have the strong foundations of these three pieces itself, product manager probably may not be able to do too much. And
Right.
that's the kind of an unfortunate truth.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Of course.
because product management will not do the development. Product management will not start creating the content for everything, and product manager will start not doing the marketing campaign and start selling to the customer. So he himself will not do everything. If if that is the definition of product management, then I think it is, a solopreneur fits better there instead of calling him as a product manager. So a lot of when I talk to some of the industry leaders and senior folks who have been into the industry for so many years, but now since the product management is actually a new role that has been introduced very recently in these, especially the software um,
Hmm.
industry,
Hmm.
they are still not have understood it well.
Hmm.
And because of the product management hype itself that has been created over internet in the last 3 4 years,
Hmm.
they think that product management can solve all of their problems and challenges,
Right.
which makes things difficult even for product managers to even if they get a job, it is difficult for them to survive into that job because the expectation is so high.
Right.
And if they don't get a job, the whole problem is because the industry leader would not have defined the expectation properly well in the job description. And
Hmm.
you can actually see a lot of job descriptions floating around product management, and the expectation is so high that it looks like he can do everything. If he can do everything, then why can't he start his own company and do it on his own? He doesn't
Of
have to
course.
join you. Yeah. So
That
that
that's an interesting point, because I was when I started this activity 15 days back, 30 days
yeah.
back, I was like, I started talking to product managers, right? Everybody is trying knows like how to actually create a business when we look at a resume, right?
Yeah.
There's an impact. There's a start to end. Every other knowledge we are supposed to have.
Yeah.
We are supposed to have know how to make revenue, right? In the end, that's what all matters.
Yeah.
That's the question I'm asking myself. It's like if I'm
Mhm.
a good enough product manager, why
Yeah.
not I can launch a venture today and make menu out of it?
Yeah,
If I'm
absolutely.
right, so that's how it started.
Yeah.
I had plans to launch something, so
Mm.
I asked myself 15 days back, like if I have really have to do it someday in distant future, why not today?
Exactly.
I'm putting that project in a packaged way right now, like a
Mm.
like a startup. So
Mm.
it's a real portfolio of my skills. This is what I'm doing as a product manager to showcase my skills, right? Not even
Mm.
not even consider it's a startup, right? I'm not doing it for business. I'm just showcasing my skills, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, all the product management doesn't convert or doesn't always start a venture. So,
Right.
so product manager requires a certain skill set, and that skill set also varies what size of the company you're joining. If you're joining a startup or a mid-size company or a small size enterprise, large size enterprises, the functions of the product managers and responsibilities varies a lot, and that's a
Hmm.
reality.
Hmm.
I mean, even if I go and try to talk out in the interview, I
Yeah.
would always be very honest about it. And if they want to hire me, it's up to them. If they don't want to hire, it's totally their decision. But they have to really understand and be as a product manager, the job that I'm going to take, I should be aligned with their expectation. That's the key thing. And a
Of
lot
course.
of aspiring product managers misses that because they just want to get that role. And I
Right.
always tell that people don't follow the role or don't follow the designation that you get. First thing whether the problem statement that they are putting in front of you, whether is it aligning with your values and interest as well or not. If it is there, then you will automatically be able to do your job function properly as a product manager or any other role, and you will automatically be able to grow it fast.
Sure.
But if you are not aligning with the product problem statement itself, and you think that this is not a bigger problem to solve, I cannot create much impact, or this is not a domain of my interest, then you'll not be able to do that job well. Other than creating nice decks and long documents, the impact will be very difficult to create.
Sure. So, have you also interviewed product managers in your
Yes,
career?
yes, yes, yes. I have done that. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I want you to give me some comments on my resume, right? It's like,
Okay.
I told you the story from initial 3 years, 4 years, right? More
Yeah,
than that.
yeah.
I'll tell you in short, last 5 years journey of
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
So the summary is this: I worked with six startups, almost out of six, five were startups. First
Mhm.
one shut down their software operations.
Okay.
Second was hit by COVID. Third was completely shut down. Fourth, I joined. We worked for some time. There were like some financial issues, and the role was expectations, or I would say
Yeah.
the definition. The requirement wasn't really there. Maybe
Mhm.
fifth, that was fifth. Sixth, I failed to add value. I understand in a remote culture where there was zero fintech knowledge. I was
Right.
zero at fintech, and the scale. Before this, I had worked up with the small teams of 20 people, and when
Okay.
I joined fintech, like 20,000 people, the Pine Labs, I was like,
Mhm.
so that was the scale. I was there,
Mhm.
and they were like, there in remote, they could not bridge the gap. Also, I could not bridge the gap. I can totally accept that. In recent role, it was not even a product manager role because I just got that as a backup in some way.
Mhm.
Growth marketing manager, where I was supposed to maybe do the lot of marketing activities, not
Mhm.
I've done in my career ever. Those expectations, though we tried to communicate in the forms of terms of funnels. So I tried to manage a lot of funnels. I sent almost like 40 lakh emails in a matter of 6 months.
Mhm.
Managed funnels carefully for a particular role, tried to optimize the steps and the process very carefully. Now that's
Okay.
that's a detail, but when we look, somebody looks at the resume, right? What
Hmm.
they see is that six organizations in years, which is
Hmm.
like a scary thing for almost 99% of them. Now,
Yes, yes.
before that, started three ventures because I added everything to my resume that is
Hmm.
visible. So,
Hmm.
six startups, three own ventures, and one organization where I stayed for almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Looking at that resume, everybody gets scared. Nobody even thinks of, why should we talk to this person?
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
though I told you my, others' impression, what would be your impression if you can share?
It's actually a very interesting question, and I have recently come across a very similar question in my last mentoring session, where a person who was handling was who is doing an associate product manager role in a startup, uh, and he was fortunate to got into that role immediately after college. But then, unfortunately, the startup is not doing very good now, and he's now struggling to find that role. Of course, because he has could not spend too much time into that role, and now because of there are things which are beyond individual's control. Like if startup is not performing well, he cannot do too much,
Right,
right? So
right,
he'll have to look for more options. But then, looking at the current market situation, he cannot also go and apply everywhere and get accepted easily, because
right.
he'll have to build the portfolio, or you'll have to showcase something where he has spent a long time, you know uh,
Impact.
problem solving certain problem which has created certain impact, right? Because at time is duration has not
Very
been
short.
spent so
Right,
long. That is why the trust is kind of lacking, and that's a
right,
kind of a hard truth of the industry.
right.
And I can relate to it, why more than 90% of the people will give you that feedback that you have switched jobs every year, and then even if you have tried to get into ventures, you could not succeed.
Right.
But my only thing is that you have at least tried. 90% of the people may not try also.
Hmm.
So that is a very good, and I think it gives a strong reflection that this person wants to do something. But
Hmm.
the only thing is, if he gets the right training and the right support, he might be able to crack it.
Hmm.
And this is what is kind of missing.
Hmm.
And if I'm hiring a product manager, I would look at two to three things.
Hmm.
Um, and one is that, are you a collaborative problem solver or not?
Hmm.
Because that's a very big thing. I mean,
Hmm.
you
Of course.
you might be able to solve things or visualize things in your own ways, but
Hmm.
are you able to articulate, and are you able to you know uh, help others in the team on the same page as well or not? Because
Hmm.
that's very, very, very critical for me.
Hmm.
Because if you're able to create your own vision and mission and everything, whatnot, these things are all industry terms, forget it. But what more important is, at the ground level, that all the team members and every stakeholders are very well aligned with the kind of the approach on solving the problem.
Hmm.
If we are able to get into that mode, and if we are able to do that, then it's probably a very good fit. So that's a one side of it.
Hmm.
The second most important thing is, for me, is that how um, you know I mean, in the first aspect, I think I've mixed communication skills and stakeholder management, both areas I've covered it. The second most important area which I would see is that, how do you see yourself in 4 to 5 years down the line, as you as a product? Where do you see yourself grow?
Hmm.
Because not every product manager will be able to fit in all the cultures,
Right.
right? This is few people can get very well adjusted in small teams, and they're like enjoying working in small teams.
Hmm.
Few people don't get scared if they have to work with five different teams, or in a cross functional teams as well, and
Hmm.
they are okay, they enjoy working in that bigger teams. And then there are certain people, as the teams get bigger, the roles also get little mixed up and start
Right.
overlapping.
Hmm.
And that is where the fun comes, right? You will, of course, have some sort of you know uh, you know not so clarity on many things, and whether you are ready to take that ownership and responsibility to drive those things or not. And
Right.
that's the key important point. Otherwise, what I see is that as we grow up in the ladder, people will start saying somebody to his peers or somebody below him, can you please look into it? So the delegation part becomes also very important. So one
Right.
is you're taking responsibility and you're delegating only what has to be delegated. But you are not just delegating because you are not very clear whether this should be done by you or it should be done, by somebody else. And that is where the accountability and overall responsibility becomes very critical. And if we have that kind of, if somebody is able to give me that kind of impression in the interview, then 90% chance I will push his resume forward, and I will request that this person should be in, because anybody can be trained, but
Right.
there are certain skill sets or certain behavior that you come bring in into the organization. It is very important. We can't change it or build it in 6 months.
I understand. Um, I don't. I'm not sure. The clarifying that question, because again, looking at it's my skill set that I've described my journey in 10 years with the 10 organizations. It's writing that is my thing. Even I added a video resume, like talking on camera. This is who I am, but
Yeah,
I cannot fight the unknown biases without even talking to the at least person, right?
yeah,
Anyway, so I'll not jump there. That's that is why I'm creating this kind of a top of the funnel managing in a very different way somehow to you know
yeah.
increase the chances of luck. Just that.
Right, 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 right.
Okay, so let's talk about some stories from our product management journeys, right?
Yeah.
Some case you want to talk about where you had conversations with the end users and you figured something new,
Oh,
kind of.
absolutely. There are multiple such conversations and not so easy conversations as well.
Sure.
Because whenever you try to talk out and try to understand some of the problems, right, customers are not able to articulate it well. That's a
Hmm.
bigger thing, right? Customers have some problem, and when you start talking to them, they might start talking about some other problems, which also makes it little difficult to decide which exactly is the major problem to solve or address. So there have been multiple such cases, and one of my, I mean, I don't want to take the name of the customer as such, but one of our US customers have been struggling uh, with the multiple, with the multiple manual processes that have been doing what they were doing in their area.
Right.
So I'm talking about an oil and gas petroleum industry customer who has their huge refineries and manufacturing spaces, right? And they have a huge machines that are running day and day and night. And uh, there is a lot of manual processes and a lot of manual planning that happens in Excel sheet.
Hmm.
And and on that basis they collect certain data from the machine either manually, and that they don't punch that data into the system, and what happens, the Excel and the system are not in sync most of the time.
Right. Right.
And that makes it really hard because on their Excel the calculation shows different, on the system is showing different, and that is
Right.
where they're not able to make out what is the right, what is the right number to trust.
Hmm.
And they were never, and even though accepted that there is a mismatch, they they are not ready to accept that, the software is not a problem, it's your processes are problem.
Right. Right.
And that makes it difficult for us to convince. You can't say, we can't go to the customer that you are not doing your processes properly, right? We'll have to say that what we can do from our side to help support your processes and help them optimize it so that you can use our product in an efficient way.
Right.
So hope you get my problem statement a bit,
Ah,
right? Right. So
right. Right.
the
I got
challenge
it.
was the processes was not done correctly,
Hmm.
though the software was able to support a lot of things, but they were not using it efficiently, and hence there was a gap, and they were complaining that software is not working well. And this is where we get into long discussions with the customer, try to understand. And it, after huge workshops, long discussions with the business people and the actual end users who are trying to punch in the data into the system, we realize that uh, the internal team communication is a challenge, and
Hmm.
which makes it really difficult. And the data, the customer who is entering the data into the system, if he, let's say, goes on leave, there's nobody who can fill in that information in his absence, and when he comes next day he will start doing it, so the previous day's data goes missing completely.
Right. Right.
And which is creating a lot of challenges for us. So we try to optimize it. We thought, let us make sure that we integrate it directly with your Excel. Let me not introduce a third way of solving the problem. If you
Uh,
think your Excel is maintained well, allow
hmm.
you let us, instead you doing a manual punch in of the data, which is also a possible way, and that's the kind of recommended way as well, so that because whenever you're standing in front of the system, you can actually punch in the data right from your mobile device. So
Right.
that was a kind of a thought process we had. But then few of the customers were able to follow it. Few customers said, no, we want to use Excel. That is why my Steam skill set is there. And I said, okay, let us allow you to import that Excel in certain format. And
Hmm.
that one thing actually helped them a lot, because it really could help them optimize their processes. Actually, not optimize their processes, but help them leverage our system a little more efficiently without
Hmm.
changing their working ways too much.
Interesting.
And of course, this is one of the small aspect of it. We did also try to worked with them to see how we can actually read the sensor information, or the Internet of Things that it, right, the IoT data from the machine
Hmm.
to our system directly, so that nobody has to daily punch in. I mean, it comes automatically every minute, and depending on the configurations that they make, we pull that data and we try to do the crunching based on certain artificial intelligence algorithms.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So there was a lot of things going on, and you went to into their situation, the scenario, the context, and
Yes.
carefully did one thing that helped them. The whole process is very
Exactly,
careful.
exactly. I mean, a lot of times the prop solution is very simple, and
Right.
and we
Right.
somehow get into the complicated ways to solve that problem,
Hmm.
and we try to solve it in the most fancy ways, but
Hmm.
a lot of times it doesn't work, because when we really get into the customers have brought our product to get a solution to their problems, but not to
Hmm.
always play around with their processes and skill sets. So if the software is not able to fit their processes, they will never going to continue using it. They might, some other vendor might come and sell them another product to them, and they will move to that product. So that's a kind of a thing we wanted to make sure that as we are building together with the customer in collaboration with, we have to also
Hmm.
make sure that we are also focusing on the retention and more value add to the customer. So that's a kind of a, I think, one of the case that I remember. There are multiple more cases actually,
Of course. Of course.
because and
Interesting to know your
if I have to give you a little glimpse of it, that um, SAP is a very, very, or ERPs in general are very, very complex systems, because they are highly integrated. Your
story.
SCM, your SRM, your SCM, your plant maintenance, your financial accounting, and everything are kind of interrelated. Procurement pieces are all interrelated and integrated well. That's the kind of
Right.
ERP definition has been defined. Now, if a customer wants to start using our product, the onboarding time of these products are very high, because they have to bring in data from multiple sources, bring into SAP, and then only they can get a real value add. So we were able to work out with some customers, try to identify some small areas where we can actually improve the onboarding, and we were able to
Hmm.
onboard the actual overall processes for for these complex scenarios by at least
Hmm.
25%. So that was a very, very big achievement. So when I say 25%, that means if a customer takes, let's say, 20 days to do that, they were able to do it in 15 days itself. So we were able to
Right.
reduce that time for them.
There's a lot of automation that goes behind the.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Interesting, actually. When we understand the importance of all those efforts, we actually try to do that. Otherwise, we are
Yeah,
like, that's too much effort. We don't need that.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
so,
exactly.
so it's like the same thing. Effort is there. There are two people, right? They both understand there's their effort. If they understand the value, they will take it forward and they will jump on prioritizing it. If they don't
Yes,
understand the
absolutely.
value, they will probably ignore it again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So I have this theory behind conversations, right? Each conversation can resolve a lot of problems and
Oh,
can
absolutely.
figure out the value add for both the parties.
Mm.
So technically, broadly, tech conversation is a rocket science thing. If I have to describe it in a very heavy thing, right? Because there are a lot of assumptions in each conversation. At least
Yeah.
in this conversation, you have a lot of assumptions. I have been talking about some thoughts, and we are talking about product management in common, as a theme.
Mm.
um, Assumptions is like there are unsaid assumptions and there are conversations, which we wanted to something like we wanted to connect at 11. We failed once, we tried once again, but it was a
Right,
good enough conversation. We started with somewhere else, right?
right, right.
um,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and getting to know someone from any random place somewhere in on the earth, right?
Right, right.
um, so, talking about, would you like to the duration of the session? Would you like to jump out at 12, or you have some more time? I would like
Yeah, I
to.
have another 10, 15 minutes. 10, 15 minutes, not a problem.
Sure. So I will try to extend it to 15 minutes. I will bring in one more agenda, where I was trying to build something to actually
Hmm.
showcase these skills. And
Okay.
I'm now actually going into building that into very more detailed way.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the backstory in first 2 minutes, then we'll jump into the activities. Hello.
Yeah, I can see. I think your
Hi.
internet is a little unstable.
Yeah, there was some disturbance. So I'll talk about the backstory.
Mm.
So when I joined this organization in 2020, the Latto Kids, where it was a small team of 5-10 people.
Hmm.
It was an Android app for kids to play, learn and ABC the rhymes and the poems. Okay, one, two, three.
Mm.
I
Okay.
got interested into this education technology sector from there.
Hmm.
Then I joined this platform called Bobble, where we were building the conversation media platform. So from there, I went deeper into conversations, and then in the
Hmm.
meantime, I also became a father. So I created a YouTube channel to save my child's videos. Then I, pivoted from there to publicly publish the videos and actually maybe get some revenue from there in near future, right? So all these things connected. Now I had this longer distant future goal to build something in education technology for early stage kids. And
Okay.
because I'm also becoming a father, my conversations with my child are very, very unique, very deep, very, they train me to improve myself every day. Like, I
Wow.
have to think about things in a her way. To
Hmm.
even ask for water, asking for water, I realize that it is a tough job. Are you looking for a hot water, cold water, or normal water, or you don't like this water because it is too hot? This is a very difficult thing
Hmm.
for a child, at least, right?
Right.
Newborn.
Right. Right.
So I came up with the thought that I will be building learning toys for kids.
Hmm.
I created a YouTube channel. It was named as Grow Up with Harita. Now,
Hmm.
the distant future goal was to build learning toys. I was
Hmm.
thinking, so today I am launching that project. Actually,
Oh,
I purchased this domain growupwithharita.com.
okay.
Idea is to sell toys using the YouTube channel and
Hmm.
grow the website using the YouTube channel and sell toys from again growupwithharita.com and
Hmm.
grow the website using the channel to the website. Each
Okay.
two things helping each other. Now
Okay.
I need a first. So when I posted this thought, when I will be actually selling toys, people
Hmm.
basically ask me what is special about your toys. So basic general conversation, just general question like a product manager, we
Right.
can say, or critical thinker. So I
Right.
figured that I have toys, in my hands. There's a stuffed toy lying in the back of me,
Mm-hmm.
and I read a lot of poems for my child. So
Okay.
I found a combination which is not there in the industry. That I will bring a toy, I will
Mm-hmm.
sell one toy along with the poems related to the toy. So I will be selling the elephant along with the poems related to elephant in a booklet of creatively designed for the kids and for the parents as well. So parents will read out from the booklet and play with the child so to create a bond and jump also away from the digital screens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first MVP. I have actually defined a date to launch this first MVP. 15th of September is the date I have, announced to myself and on the internet that I
Mm-hmm.
will be selling first toy. I will be very carefully sourcing the five toys, five elephants from the industry market, like let's say 200 rupees, right? I will
Mm-hmm.
get the booklet printed with some poems. So I have the two things, right? Now I club that, put it into a package, and add some margin to it so that I make unit margin of
Mm-hmm.
revenue from there.
Okay.
Let's say I make 100 rupees per sale from
Mm-hmm.
one toy. That's how I will be able to optimize for my things, right?
Right, right.
Uh, that was the thought. Now, where I am today, so I'm sitting on first. I want to do it in 15 days. I want to also define the milestones until 15th, right? So that it doesn't delay. The process needs to be taken care of carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's how that is the phase I'm getting into. Sourcing the
Okay.
toys, I think, is the an hour activity, because going to the market purchasing five pieces is going to be easy. Getting that design done and printing that in the minimal cost is a very critical part in the process required. Then actually
Mm-hmm.
selling it in. There were some things that I was researching. What kind of rules and regulations should I be looking forward to? I found some I could not find very structing, because something that will resist my launch. So that I'm fine with that research part. I will be able to do that at random.
Okay.
Now the question is, I would like you to play the devil. Ask me some questions, like I want to figure out why this may not work out. As a
Okay.
venture, though it's a portfolio project to showcase my skills, it also sounds contradicting to some people, because why are you doing a startup to actually showcase your skills? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I need to build a project to showcase my skills, portfolio. What better than a real project? Though my mentor asked me this question, I confused him. It's my 10 years venture vision, though I'm building as a portfolio, but it's a long term venture. So it's like, of course, it sounds confusing. Why would you do a venture with the 10 years vision as a portfolio to showcase as a product manager?
Mm-hmm.
But although I'm, not following the traditional path of applying to the jobs and creating a pipeline from there, that sounds more risky to some extent. So maybe, but I'm doing
Right.
that as well. I'm finding careful opportunities. At least this time, I will not pick up a startup that will shut down in 6 months. Or,
Right,
um,
right.
right? But yes, would you like? Can you ask me some tough questions from here, maybe?
Yeah, well, and so actually, again, it shows you that you have that, passion to make it happen,
Build from scratch.
right? I mean, the only question is, what is exactly, have you really defined your revenue and business model there?
Yes, I think so. So revenue, when I'm talking about revenue, right? So let's break
Mhm.
it down. When you're saying business model, of course, it is very deep thing, and because I want to think in very long term, like 10 years, right? So I want
Mm.
to continue this with a very careful execution, right? I want to
Right,
be very focused into learning toys for the
Mhm.
kids to start with, right?
Right.
Now there can be hundreds of possibilities how we design a toy with for the learning purpose. That's
Mhm.
a that is where the business model will come. Today I'm starting with a toy, one
Right.
stuffed toy with a booklet. I will have to evolve every other 6 months, maybe, right? I will eventually maybe build a very careful, let's say, Alexa, or I even have a this virtual character in my published on the website, right? I'm calling it
Mm.
mini. So let me tell you other long-term vision, the pitch, right?
Okay.
So assume, I'll talk with the prop,
Okay.
right? Now, imagine you are a parent,
Mm.
and you have a child of, let's say, 2 years. So this is mini. I'm selling you this mini. This is an artificial intelligent toy which will grow with your child, which will be an inspiration. So if I have to explain in one line, right, this
Mm.
will be an aspirational child for you. Like, what is that you want to teach your child?
Right.
Wake up at the same time every day, doing wishing everyone good morning, or talking in a very calm way. These are the things this toy will be able to do, and your child will learn from this with the daily conversations. That's my
Right.
kind of an ideal vision, because I want to think big.
Yeah, but then there is a other side of it. If
Right.
your child does something wrong, then the toy will also learn that something wrong, right?
That depends
And
on me. So that depends on how we design that toy. That's a long
okay,
term vision where I'm not actually designing right now how I will do it. I don't know.
okay, okay. No, actually, the thing is, the thing revenue model is something you have to really put down on paper and do
Hmm.
a calculation of, or at least have an estimate of how much you want to it get out on a monthly basis, on a half
Yes,
yearly
yes.
basis, and on a yearly basis.
Right,
So
right,
that exercise is something you should have it ready on your paper. If not, then I would really suggest you to do it before you launch on 15th.
right, right.
And the second thing is that um, define define by the way, before that, do you have any designer or child psychologist on your team?
No, I'm the only one.
Or you're the only one?
Hmm.
Because if you really have to scale, then you have to really get into that direction as well. You have to have some sort of a designer or child psychologist
Right.
on your team. Otherwise it is very difficult to scale,
Hmm. Hmm.
because there are so many creative learning toys that are already available, and these bigger brands are really working hard with these experts to make that happen.
Hmm.
Now, the how your toys, or how your you know learning toys can actually create a differentiator is what something we have to understand
Right.
now. So whatever toys that you are um whatever types of toys you are thinking, you have to see whether those types of toys are available in the market or not. If they're available in the market, what is that is missing in those toys that you can bring onto the table, and this is what be the selling point and USP for your thing. See, toys is a very very uh, it's a big market for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But
Right.
but there are so many big players already, and
Right.
they have done their branding already.
Hmm.
Because like many other industries, the branding for toys also plays a very very important role. Otherwise, you the people may not find it very you know uh, they may not be willing to really buy it if it is not coming from a really brand, unless you are focusing on a tier 3 city where
Hmm.
anything can be sold. If it looks exciting, then you can still go ahead and try that. But
Hmm.
in tier 1 and tier 2 cities, to a lot extent, people have the right, I think, money and the potential to go ahead and buy the branded toys, which are also actually available in learning toys. Even
Right.
I can tell you, for my son as well,
Hmm.
we are using a lot of these smartivity building blocks diagrams, where their kids are forced to create things on
Right.
themselves or themselves by bringing certain pieces together.
Right.
So these IITians have opened this venture. I think you might know it already, right? Smartivity.
Uh, Probably yes.
Yeah, so that's the kind of a thing that they're already doing.
I
and
get
and
that.
yeah, so the thing is, not immediately, but at some point of time, you need to have some sort of a roadmap how you want to build your brand. and with the right messaging, because actually not just messaging, with the right differentiator, because that is very critical.
Hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yes.
So your first point, I would like to understand that more. I tried to do that. I've not done that in depth, maybe at least for myself, right?
Okay.
So I set up a goal for 3 months very clearly
Okay.
that I
Okay.
want to have profit of at least 3 lakh rupees in 3 months. So that was
Okay.
my expected goal. Now to actually reach there, where what I'm thinking is that I will have to sell at least 3,000 pieces with a margin of 100 rupees per piece, right? Then only I will be able to make that margin and have that profit of 3 lakh. If I'm
Right.
able to do that, that will be my uh, my success state, that
No,
it may
absolutely.
survive. It may survive.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
uh, if you ask me, so I ask myself, what is that I can, I'm not done. I need help with, right, in that way. So I was thinking, I have not actually sold something on the internet yet, right? It's like
Hmm.
actually selling a toy, maybe anything. So if I was thinking, if I find someone who has sold something and scaled something from there, let's say 1,000 one sale to 3,000 sales, maybe
Hmm.
from e-commerce, maybe from YouTube, videos content. That is
Hmm.
where I'm kind of lacking. That is skill I'm missing, which is what I may have to learn from. The
Yeah.
rest of it is like probably iterations and operations and design, right?
No, that is why I'm saying you have to have some sort of a helping hand sitting next to you from the very beginning,
Right.
because this is a type of a venture wherein you need more and more helping hands, and a lot of creativity needs to go in there,
Right.
because that's the kind of a differentiator for you.
Of course.
And
Now,
yeah,
yeah, please.
no, go ahead, you were saying something.
So now, I mean, look at me again from last 1 hour and 10 minutes of conversation as a product manager again, right?
Okay.
Does that sound like an interesting profile to you?
See, the thing is, that's why I'm saying the product managers have, some defined boundaries,
Right.
and and you can go ahead and very well design it, but do you think you are also the person who can also define how to sell it? And secondly, you can also define what is how you can actually you can do all the market analysis alone.
Hmm.
So, are you the person who can actually design, understand the market, and do the analysis and try to bring in the differentiator and also sell it? If
Right.
you think that you have all these three qualities, then you are probably the right fit for this, role. Otherwise, even if you are, missing any one of it,
Hmm.
there's a high chance after 3 months you may not want to continue again, right? Because those are the very important three important things that we have to make sure are properly structured, or you have the some sort of a helping hands to make it
Hmm.
happen. So
Hmm.
what I would suggest you is that instead of you designing it everything by yourself, because it's your idea, your baby,
Of
and
course.
if you're designing it yourself, then you are getting into it with some bias,
Right. Of course.
because based on your experience and your interactions with your daughter, right? So it's still a very limited uh, subset of,
No.
or limited you know what should I say, exposure to the number of kids that are available out there, right? So what I would personally recommend you, if you think that you have a bandwidth and some money to be burned, you can actually onboard some freelancer who can
Okay.
actually come up with certain design, help you design, not exactly come up with, but takes the requirement from you and get a perspective from him as well, and see if you can then, and because then you have to focus only on the marketing and selling, and let the designing part be taken care by or outsourced to someone for at least now. Once you
Right.
have some sort of a template or a reference available, then you can take it in house as well, and you can also do it
Hmm.
uh, later, but it
I
depends.
understand. So I understand your feedback, like delegating what is most critical, getting things done, and putting the structures around the things required.
Yes.
But again, I am a founder with minimal resources at this moment, I would say,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and and a burning desire to build something, like something, add value somewhere. That's what, and there is a lot of curiosity behind this. So
Yeah, yeah.
I
No, no, you
think.
can always do it. There is no way. There's not. There's no way I'm saying you can't do it. The only thing is, the pace at which you go alone will be of course slower than the pace at which you go if you have a helping hand.
Got it.
Okay.
My it was
So
running out
yeah,
of
so the
battery.
15 days time, what I'm hearing is that you have hardly 15 days, and if you have all the designs and the first sort of a marketing model and sales model is ready, then I think you're good to go. You don't have to listen to me.
Hmm.
But as you think, you have to go and scale this, because 100 rupees per toy is a good number to start with as a margin,
Hmm.
but then it might not eventually meet your expenses,
Of course.
because some of the operations cost will also increase.
Right. So, I
you
mean,
you might
I'm
have to you might have to think, you might have to plan a bigger margin number. So the
right.
margin has to be at least 25-30%, otherwise it's very difficult to scale.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Otherwise it's very difficult to scale.
This is
Toys market usually work toys brands usually work with a lot of margins.
this is one aspect I think I failed to look at carefully, because 100 margin for one piece might be very low, right?
Very
Though,
low.
though I'm sitting at a position where I have to create possibilities, right? Get things done.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes. I'm experimenting every day. I'm
No, absolutely, it's a great thing.
putting myself out there. So, and recently picked up this book, The Minimalist Entrepreneur,
Wow, wow,
um,
wow.
where I start from scratch with minimal investment. Right? Let's see how it goes.
No, of
That was.
course. I think this is on my list as well for a very long time, and I've also recently started supporting my father
Hmm,
in creating some content for him. And my father is a relationship and mental health expert, sort of a coach,
hmm,
and he is associated with Nimhans and certain institutions where he's giving certain webinars as well. So I have also started creating an Instagram channel for him where I can you know trying to be consistent, but but with a lot of other commitments it is always little difficult.
yeah.
But as a side thing, I'm trying to make consistently shoot some videos for my father and put it on Instagram, and now getting into YouTube as well.
Hmm,
And then slowly I'm thinking how we can scale it with more and more content aligned with certain themes. So I'm trying to take one theme where how Bhagavad Gita learnings can be applied in corporate day-to-day life, and this is a very important topic, and I'm trying to see how I can present it in a different ways. So
interesting.
that's yeah, so that's the kind of thing I'm trying, but let's see.
Perfect. Perfect. So again, thanks again, Rahul. So I think we can wrap it up. We'll
Okay.
connect maybe again
Oh,
with some.
absolutely, absolutely. It was lovely pleasure talking to you. And whatever you are doing is absolutely great. Please continue doing it, and all the best for your new venture. Have
I also need a candid feedback. Something that you think I should improve.
you're putting me in a lot of different situation.
I mean, that's my. Sorry, if I'm doing that, we can skip it.
No, 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 that's absolutely fine. And see, there's absolutely nothing wrong about it, right? Asking for a
Right.
feedback, and yeah, everybody needs a feedback. So
Right.
one good thing I think I keep repeatedly saying that you are very passionate and you want to keep trying things. But
Hmm.
then the only thing is stick around for a longer time for that, because that's a very
If I get a
important thing.
chance, if I get a
Huh?
chance, I will stick with something for next 10 years.
Yes. Yeah, because that is how it will help build or build the real value.
Of course.
Otherwise, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, a very small time to actually get any value out of anything. Doesn't matter it's a job or it's a doesn't it's a own venture.
Right. I understand. So that is why this new experiment is with the goal for 10 years at least.
Oh,
I am
absolutely.
into this for long term. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So
Great.
thanks to you, Rahul. Thanks to the audience, whoever somebody comes up. I think we at least till now we did not have any live audience, but
Right.
this has been a good enough content for me at least, as well as I hope it was for you too. So we'll wrap it up. We'll connect again soon with a new candidate, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And have a good day and talk to you later. Thank
Sure.
you. Bye
Thank you. Bye.
bye.
Have fun, guys.
Same.